How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another bi-weekly Star Wars news update video. Again, you guys know how this series works by now. Every 2 weeks we wrap up the latest in Star Wars gaming, from Battlefront to Fallen Order to Squadrons to LEGO Star Wars to future Star Wars games. We cover it all, so if you want to be kept up to date on all things Star Wars gaming, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you actually get notified when videos go live. Now today we have a fair bit to get through. There was a ton of gameplay revealed for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which showcased some really cool stuff, so we'll of course get into that. A small update was released to Star Wars Squadrons, and there has been a fair bit going down in the past week or so regarding Star Wars games as a whole under EA, including more from a known leaker regarding the rumoured Fallen Order sequel, as well as a small update that is coming to Battlefront 2, and also some really sad news for the Battlefront community. So we'll get into all of that in this video. Now before we dive into all of that, this video is sponsored by Monster Legends. Now you guys have probably heard of Monster Legends before. Monster Legends is a free-to-play game available on both Android and iOS. The basic gist of the game is you collect a whole bunch of monsters, then you fuse them together to create better monsters. You then feed them up and then you send them into battle, where there are different PvP modes where you can fight in real time against your friends, and there are weekly events to discover each and every week to help keep things fresh with new adventures. Be sure to download Monster Legends through the link in the description to get $30 worth of special rewards for free, including 50,000 food, an epic monster, Cybele, and 300,000 gold. And of course, a big thank you to Monster Legends for sponsoring this video and helping to keep the channel alive. But now, let's get on into the video. So now let's get into the news, and we'll start off with the LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga news. So there was an advert released that showcased a ton of gameplay for the game, so I'll roll it over in the background for you guys to see. It was pretty quick fire, and this is the best quality that I could possibly find to show you guys, and there are some strange edits on the gameplay as well, so just bear with them. I'm not actually sure if they're supposed to be there or if they're a part of the ad, like I really don't know. I think they actually are, but you know, still, you guys will be able to clearly see what's going on there. Now I'm not going to break down each individual shot, otherwise we'll literally be here all day, but we do see stuff like General Grievous and his Sol 1, we see some space battle gameplay, Rey and Kylo Ren dueling it out in the Death Star ruins, and of course Poe Dameron and his X-Wing. So it is nice to see more gameplay for this game, as it does look good. Yes, it is a LEGO game, sure, but it is going to be going through the events of all 9 films in the Skywalker Saga, so even if LEGO isn't your thing, it's certainly not mine, but I think it'll still be cool to play through this game, and we do know that it's going to be absolutely huge. So yeah, the gameplay looks good, really looking forward to this game. I just hope that it doesn't get delayed again. Now next up we have some Squadrons news. Now I know many of you don't care about Squadrons all that much, so I'll cover this quick for those who do care. There was a small update that went live for Squadrons late last week. There were some quality of life changes, general balancing, and minor bug fixes that were causing issues since the game launched, and I will link the patch notes below as well as some that came out yesterday. So for those of you who do want to check them all out for yourself, I'll put everything below. A lot of it is very minor, so it's not really worth me reciting the entirety of the patch notes in this video. And like I said, I know most of you don't really care about Squadrons too much. But again, for those who do, links below. Now for those of you who have been keeping up with the bi-weekly news update series, you will know that I covered some leaks from Bespin Bulletin, who is a proven source for Star Wars news. He did mention about something potentially coming for the Fallen Order franchise on the 1-year anniversary of the game. Well, he's been back at it again, talking about the Fallen Order franchise today. Now some of this bounces off what I spoke about in my last video, but I'll read through everything he posted now. He said, during EA's last earnings call, Electronic Arts reported that there was no new Star Wars games releasing in fiscal year 2022, which runs from April 2021 until March 2022. You may recall that EA pushed Squadrons out much earlier than originally planned, as the game was scheduled for a 2021 release. You may also recall that I exclusively reported that the second entry in the Star Wars Jedi franchise was aiming for a 2022 release. My fear was pushing Squadrons out earlier may result in the Fallen Order sequel also getting pushed out earlier. At the moment, it doesn't appear to be the case, but that could change as EA didn't push up the Squadrons release until early this year. So with all things considered, you can still expect the new Star Wars Jedi title in 2022. Then he goes on to say that he knows more about details, but he hasn't decided to share them yet, but I assume he will share them soon, and like I've said before, this guy is pretty reliable. He posted about Squadrons well before it was announced, and basically everything he said ended up being true down to the most minute detail. So yeah, this doesn't really surprise me too much though. The Fallen Order sequel is going to be coming at some point, it's just a question of when. And if this guy is correct, which most of the time he is, then 2022 is still the time frame we'll most likely see Fallen Order's sequel. I honestly though, I don't see Fallen Order being the only game that we see up until the license for Star Wars runs out for EA in 2023. They're supposed to be doubling down on the Star Wars license, and Fallen Order sequel is surely not the only game coming if that's the statement that EA made. Now that does lead me on to my next point. As I discussed in my last video, there has been a ton of rumors floating around about job listings for a new Star Wars game. These have since been confirmed by the studio behind the leaks. They came out and said that they were fake, and I did actually make a full video talking about this, which I will link in the top right corner of this video where I go more in depth on that topic. I just felt like I had to mention it in this video as a lot of you only watch these videos, and it was a pretty big talking point in the past week or so. And also, as of putting this video together, Jedi Fallen Order is now on the Xbox Game Pass, so I do expect to see a surge of new players for that game, which is going to be great. So if you somehow haven't played Fallen Order yet and you're on Xbox, now is the time. And now moving on to Battlefront 2. So there has been a bug plaguing the progression in Star Wars Battlefront 2. You might have experienced it by now. Well, DICE are working on a fix at the moment, and it is still safe to play, and you shouldn't lose any of your progression until the fix comes. But it is cool to see that fixes are still occasionally coming to Battlefront 2. There are a lot of other things that probably do need attention, but that's probably too much to ask for at this point. I think they'd only really bother fixing things that actually break aspects of the game, so this is pretty cool to see. But what isn't cool to see is this. Battlefront community cult hero Dennis Brandval, the design director of Battlefront, is leaving DICE to move on with the next stage of his career. Now, for those who aren't involved in the Battlefront community, it might not seem like that big of a deal, but Dennis was honestly a huge part of the Battlefront community, and now that he has moved on, it kind of feels like Star Wars at DICE is done, to be honest. I don't see him leaving DICE if Star Wars was still around, as he was so integral to the game's successes. Now, obviously, I don't know that for certain, that kind of goes without saying, but he's spoken many times about how much he loves working on Star Wars, and like he said in the tweet, he mentions when DICE first got the Star Wars contract and now 8 years later, that journey is over. So yeah, I wish Dennis luck with his future endeavors, but this is kind of like the final nail in the coffin for me when it comes to Battlefront games, at least under DICE. I just don't see Battlefront happening in any facet under DICE anymore. Like, it sucks, but you know, I could be completely wrong, I don't know. Either way though, I just wish Dennis luck with whatever he's moved on to, and a big thank you for everything he's done for Star Wars games over the past 8 years. But that is just about going to do it for this video. Sorry to end the news on a sour note, but that's kind of the trend we're following right now with the Star Wars games, to be honest. There isn't much great news going on, and it just seems like blow after blow, but you know, it is what it is. Now, just a quick reminder before we wrap up the video to check the links below to pick up Monster Legends, where you will grab yourself $30 worth of rewards for free. So you can get out there and you can PvP until your heart's content. I mean, there's no Star Wars games really to play right now, so you might as well give this one a crack, and you'll be supporting the channel in the process. But of course, a big thank you to Monster Legends once again for sponsoring this video and keeping the show going. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Be sure to drop a like if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars gaming content. I have some really big videos dropping in the next few days, so keep an eye out, and I'll catch you all then.